The most important question I ever got was, what is your legacy? Not a material legacy, but if life stops here, how do you want to be remembered? What is that energy? How do people see you? This podcast series is a result of that question, what is my legacy? A phoenix is burning itself on a funeral pyre and rising from the ashes with renewed youth to live through another cycle. This fertile ash is filled with phoenix frequencies of compassion, love, forgiveness, intuition, wisdom, generosity, resilience, creativity, and evolution and involution. I've been in the ashes. I give voice to my phoenix. I share how I pioneer with ease. That's a lifestyle, a choice. I'm Nienke van Bezooijen, and I welcome you to listen and invite you to rise. Welcome to the Phoenix Frequencies. Have you ever experienced or used ghosting? Ghosting is described as the practice of a sudden ending of all communication and avoidance of contact with another person without warning or explanation and ignoring any attempts to communicate. Or in other words, ghosting is a signal someone isn't emotional ready to be in communication or any other relationship with the ghosted person. When you experience being ghosted, it can feel as untrustworthy, immature, lack of respect, lack of dignity, lack of social communication skills. It all belongs in the field of naming, framing, blaming, and shaming. But what do? Recently, a friend shared she needed to solve a technical issue with her internet and phone provider. The company didn't solve the problem, so she wanted to change provider and keep her phone number. For a day long, she tried to speak to the person, but their "hold on, I get you the right person" turned into ghosting. Not once, but time after time. This company used ghosting as their strategy to disempower complaining, in their eyes, customers to take action and give up. Do you think my friend would refer to that company as trustworthy? So what's the after effect after all? But also the person who felt mistreated by the family and started to ghost them as a powerful skill to win a family battle. Ghosting is an anti-communication behavior. And I vividly remember the person who called me her best friend, threatened me. I better be grateful that she was still talking to me. Well, you can imagine the damage I gave to what seems a friendship. And I don't blame her. My behavior wasn't a lifeline anymore. I became a threat, so I deserved punishment in the expression of ghosting. I never signed up, by the way, for being a lifeline. And with social media, we often strive for the likes and the comments, or at least a response from a person we reached out to. We can feel ghosted when there are no responses on social media or WhatsApp. We can get triggered, but what if you take the significance out of the direct response or the response that can happen a little later? For sure, not all communication silence is ghosting. I also have a very close friend. I don't speak, text or contact for months, but we agree to one another. I trust you. If you need me, you call me. We only have a few family members. The ones in Australia I can reach and speak whenever it's needed. Never an explanation needed. The others live in my country and chose ghosting for their own self-safety strategy to keep power over the relationship. For me, I can see this as an expression of hurt people in the same way. They know how the pain feels, so they better use it themselves. Healing through communication can also happen. As a former hospice nurse, also have seen the relief when that happens. So often, an issue, what led in the past to ghosting, lost all significance when compassion or love was replaced from it. It happened with my grandparents, it happened with so many other people I've seen too. In the past, isolation by punishment of ghosting was a matter of life or death if you were put outside the tribe or community. In our days, feeling you belong or not can be very painful and maybe less life-threatening, but still, look how many suicides of youth we face, killing by social media ghosting, or from families ghosting if you chose love in another direction or a different religion, another partner or a job they disagree with. Ghosting can feel like a solution. Look at the example we get from our so-called world leaders. Ghosting as a social overpowering tool. Also, people can respond by pleasing to feel safe for themselves. If they don't, they feel their life is at risk and they use ghosting instead. I was told pleasing and ghosting is a cultural expression as well, but I'm not sure. I can imagine the survival expression based on inherited trauma can be an isolation or ghosting, but it seems against all human nature. But how about just growing up? Look beyond the impulsive response of ghosting, the people you find difficult to be around with. Using nonviolent communication techniques, being real, non-manipulative for your own feeling and control of the situation. And yes, don't get me wrong, I have ended relationships. The ones who were ended by both agreements, with love and respect, and they don't hurt anymore. We might not be in touch or on the same path, but we can be grateful authentically. We walked up a short or small part of our life, but letting go from true love, never from a lack of social skills, replaced by infectious ghosting. How do you act when a relationship gets tough? So 2 expressions of ghosting can occur. The first one is the attempt to overpower by isolation strategy, as I said, in my family. The punishment for disagreement with one another. The second one is probably also disagreement, but also the lack of skills to stay connected. Lack of emotional intelligence skills. The willingness, the courage to stay in conversation. The expressions of your needs to stay in touch or not. But open endings, the unsolved, silent hostility, for whatever reason, is behind that other pattern, the infected social disconnections. So where are you? Can you restore your ghosting by just replacing one letter? Because if you open your heart and tap into your rising courage, you can go from ghosting by hosting a self-honest conversation, getting over yourself, and just from that perspective, find the courage to rise, find the courage to do what's really helpful and long-lasting, getting from ghosting to hosting a conversation, and dare to rise.